It's that time of year, folks. We let you know our thoughts on this year's Mountaineer football team. I've got Eugene Napoleon with me in the house today on Between the Years. We're going to talk about our thoughts on this year's group coming up here on Between the Years. What's up, everybody? Schuyler Callihan here with another episode of Between the Years, and that is my guy, former Mountaineer running back, legendary Mountaineer running back, Eugene Napoleon, with me here today on the show. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI. And, of course, a look at our show schedule for the upcoming season. Between the Years will drop every Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Throughout football season, we have the Walkthrough Game Day show with Eugene and myself every Thursday, and also the Mountaineer post-game show, which you'll join me for immediately after every game. So, today's going to be a fun episode. I didn't even tell Gene what we're talking about today. Usually I kind of try to give him a heads up. Sometimes it slips my mind, but I try to give him a heads up. Today's more of a relaxed, fun episode that I think he's going to have a lot of fun with. We do this every year, but I wanted to get his true gut reactions before we have any off-camera banter or anything. So I wanted to make this as natural as it could be. So, Gene, today we're going to give our game-by-game predictions. Let's do it.
Oof.
I'm holding you to this now. Now, let's see. A couple years ago, you said 10-2.
Yes.
I think last year you said 10-2. And maybe 3 years ago you said 10-2. So maybe I'm picking up a trend here, but I don't know if we're going to go 10-2 this year. What do you think?
I don't think 10-2 this year.
Okay.
But let me say this real quick. I was on a podcast yesterday with the legendary Daryl Talley.
Oh, yeah.
And one of my former teammates, Doc Basil, who was tight end for us, during my time at WVU. And we had some really good, it was a real good time. But I must say, someone went through this yesterday and we went game by game to end that particular show.
Nice.
So prepared for this.
Let's go. All right.
Yes.
And we'll have that link in the description too. So if you want to check that video out, and if you're watching our website, go to the YouTube page. We'll put the link to that show in the description so you can check out what Gene and Daryl Talley said. So let's go get to. I don't think we're going to spend too much time on this first one though. But with all due respect to Bobby Moe, even with as many new faces as the West Virginia Mountaineers have, I think this one should get out of hand pretty early. And this is why I've been saying, Gene, like, I don't think it matters. I mean, in some ways it matters that you have a starting quarterback by week one, but
Right.
you can kind of let this thing go a little bit. You can let it trickle into week two and maybe even to week three because you kind of can afford to. If they're not able to get two or three quarterbacks in this first game, you got some bigger fish to fry. So I'm going to go West Virginia. We're not going to give score predictions or anything. We'll save that for the game day show, but I'm going to go WVU here.
Oh, for game one?
Yeah.
Oh, listen, if we don't win game one, I'm moving out of the state of New Jersey. Okay, so let's West Virginia 1-0. Okay.
There we go. We're moving quickly here after RMU. All right, so week two, some people call it a trap game. I call it more of a look-ahead game. To me, everyone can view this differently. A trap game to me is when you have kind of a weaker opponent sandwiched by two stronger opponents. To me, this is more of a look-ahead situation where you don't really have that tough opponent before this game. It's a kind of a cakewalk leading into this one, so you have Pitt that you're looking ahead to. This is a tricky game. It really is. This one, I think, should worry West Virginia fans. Athens is a interesting place to play. They will be there. I think they actually just announced not that long ago that the game's going to be sold out. There'll be a lot of West Virginia fans there, of course. But this game means a lot to them. It's their opportunity to go out there and prove that they can hang with the big boys. And it's not every day that a Power Four opponent can make their way to your place if you're a G6 school. So it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. But I'm going to go West Virginia here, moving to 2-0.
Listen, that's good football. Let me be clear. Ohio has a very good program. They've always had a very good program. So um, I agree with you. It's not going to be. Look, it should be an easier game than what most people expect. I think West Virginia will do everything they need to do in all three phases of the game to win that game, to go into week three ready and prepared to play against a Pitt team that should be fired up for the backyard brawl. So I will say absolutely we move on and we're 2-0 go heading into week three.
So there we go. So got what you want here. You want that 2-0 start to get the possibility of college game day coming to Morgantown in week three, which look, I don't think Pitt has to go 2-0, and I know they have a pretty cupcake schedule through those first 2 weeks. Everyone's saying they both have to be 2-0. I don't think that's the case. The whole storyline for this would be Rich Rod returning back to West Virginia, coaching against the team that knocked him out of the national championship, the Mountaineers out of that title game in '07. That's the storyline. West Virginia's got to be 2-0. Pitt, they could care less about what Pitt does. West Virginia's got to come into this game with some juice and some momentum, so they do here in our scenario. So,
Absolutely.
backyard brawl. Man, this is tough because I feel like, and I think we've talked about it a couple times before, but the pressure of this game can mean, or can maybe go to levels that we've not really seen here in recent years because of Rich Rod's return and that whole factor. And it's going to be key for him, for the staff to kind of make sure the players don't buy too much in or read too much into that side of it. And they, at the end of the day, it's just a game against another opponent.
Mhm.
But the pressure is going to be real. And Pitt's got some returning players off a somewhat bad team, but still, they have some more continuity. It's going to be a tough one. I think they overcome the pressure. The home field advantage plays off in huge dividends. Give me the Mountaineers.
Dude, let me tell you something. This game will come down to, like you said, it's going to be a high anticipated game. This comes down to how well Rich Rod and that coaching staff prepares their players to not read the press clippings, to not get into what's on social media, to totally shut all of that noise, that extra noise out, and just be focused on the game. If they do that, there is no way that West Virginia won't be prepared for this game. I just know what Rich does. I know what his systems. I know how he operates. They will be prepared, and if they're prepared to play, there's no way Pitt is leaving Morgantown with a win. So we're going to go to 3-0.
Hey, look at this. 3-0. You just won on college game day potentially. There's some momentum here. All of a sudden, West Virginia is like the college football darling in the month of September. So that would
True.
be a cool story if it plays out that way. Kansas, Big 12 opener on the road. This is not the same Kansas. We all know that. Lance Leipold has turned this thing around. They are heading in places they've not been in a very long time, if ever. And for them, this is also their first big time game at home in their newly renovated stadium. That's pretty sweet. So that place is going to be hopping. I want to go with West Virginia here, but Gene, I think this is where I'm going to pick the first loss because you come off the emotional high of that win against Pitt. You're physically exhausted. You're mentally exhausted. You're starting, like you said, you start reading all the press clippings and hearing about how good you are on campus and all that other stuff. You start to read into it. You go play a tough physical team like Kansas on the road that's looking for an early statement. I think that's a tough game for them. So I'm going to go with Kansas handing West Virginia their first loss.
Okay. I'm going the opposite. I think for the other reasons, as you just stated, I'm going to go the opposite of that and say because they beat Pitt, because they're 3-0, and Rich has them heading in, and that staff have them heading in the right direction. I don't think they fall in week four. I don't think it's going to be a good game because Coach
Mhm.
Leipold, listen, that staff they got. Kansas is they're playing at a different level over the last few years. Well coached football team. Not taking anything from them. I just think West Virginia has a little bit more than what people are thinking that they have at this point. And I think they put it all together on the road and they win. Rich wins his first uh, Big 12 game in his second tenure at West Virginia. So I'm gonna give him that victory. So they'll be 4 in my book.
That might be the quickest game that they play all year. With how much both teams love to run the football, I mean, blank, get up to go to the bathroom, you might be in the third quarter. So let's move on here to West Virginia's home Big 12 opener. That's against Utah, and this is I think going to be one of the better teams in the Big 12 this year. They had a really down year last year. They just couldn't get anything going offensively. They have a new offense coordinator in Jason Beck, who comes from New Mexico. He brought his quarterback Devin Dampierre with him. That defense is always going to play well for Kyle Whittingham. If they can get the offense figured out, they're going to be one of those teams that contend for the Big 12 title at the end of the year. I I want to go West Virginia here. I really, really do. But that defense is going to have some answers. And I'm high on this Dampier kid, Gene. I think he's going to be one of the Big 12 favorites for everybody. So I'm going to go Utah springing the. I don't know if it's an upset because Utah's probably going to be favored in this game, but we'll go with Utah and dropping West Virginia to 3-2.
Now that's interesting because when I think about Utah, Utah is a good football team. They do all the little things well. Now a
Hmm.
lot of people don't understand when you're coming, especially they're coming into Morgantown. The bottom line is on the road, you have to do the little things well and catch a break here and there to even be in the game. I've always liked Utah. I think it's a really good program. I'm hating to say this. I have to agree with you. I think that'll be WVU's first loss, unfortunately. I just think Utah, the continuity, what they have compared to what we have with 70 new players on the roster, 70 plus to be exact, that's going to be a lot to overcome. So I have them at this point, 5 weeks in, I have us at 4-1.
So big time game on the road, and this is I believe this could be flexed to Saturday, but as of now, I think it's a Friday night game against BYU, 10:30. Gene and we're going to be up till probably 2 o'clock in the morning doing the post game show for that one. So hang in there with us. We'll make sure it still gets up. But BYU, they're an interesting team because I think with Jake Retzlaff, if he was there, that's a totally different team in some respect. I don't know though, Gene, that they're still even as good or anywhere near what they were a year ago. I think the schedule's not maybe as kind to them this year. They've lost some
Right.
pieces from last year's team. Without him, there's some major question marks, of course. And I think this is kind of one of those games where you don't expect them to win, but maybe they just go in and do the damn thing. And that happens once or twice a year, especially when you have somebody that's been around the game for a while, like Rich Rod, and he knows how to win. He's had success pretty much everywhere he's been. I
Mm-hmm.
think this is one of those games that they kind of steal out of nowhere. So I'm going to go with West Virginia getting the win on the road. Tough atmosphere too. Provo's no joke, especially at night.
This is going to be a good this will be a good test. It'll be a good test, a good road test for WVU. Will be a good it'll be a good road test for that entire roster. This is kind of a bounce back because if they lose in week 4 or week 5, you definitely need to win this game on the road. I think they will. So I have them at 5-1. They'll win this game.
Staying on the road here, going down to Florida as they take on UCF. And I hate to sound disrespectful. I really, really do. But I don't know if UCF's going to win a game this year, Gene. Like I look at their roster and I know they got a lot of turnover, just like West Virginia. And you could say they're in similar situations, but not really. I mean, they're still trying to accumulate that Big 12 caliber depth with Gus Malzahn, and now they're hitting the reset button with Scott Frost. It's going to take some time, and I don't. I think I had them projected at 1 or 2 wins. They ain't coming against West Virginia. I think they're going to go down there and take care of business here.
Absolutely. No, and this will be one of them fly high games. This will be
Yeah,
one of them, we used to call them back in the day, stat games. And again, this is no
pad
disrespect
him up,
to
baby. Pad him up.
no, no disrespect to Central Florida, but it is what it is. That's the reality of it all. So for me, we definitely take care of business. We're 6-1 at this point in my book.
Whoo, 6-1, man. College game day may come back for a second tour if that happens. So
There you go.
last game here in October, TCU. They're my dark horse. I think they've got a lot of interesting pieces. I think the run game for me is the biggest question mark. If they can get any semblance of that going, then I think they're going to be really, really hard to stop. Josh Hoover is one of the best quarterbacks, not only in the Big 12, but I think in the country that nobody talks about. I'm going to go with the Frogs here, Gene. I'm going to go with the Frogs.
I figured you would. And again, here's one of those games where it can go either way. It's going to depend on who makes the least amount of mistakes. And for some odd reason, I just think these type of games for WVU, especially with it being the new roster and all that kind of stuff, it might be a little bit, just a little bit too big for where we are at that point in the season. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, I think that'll be our second loss. So at that, I will be 6-2 at that point.
Now, the final month of the season, and I did not make these picks beforehand, just like Gene. I wanted to kind of go off the cuff here, and I'm having a hard time figuring out where I want to land on these next two in particular because I think they're swing games. They on paper they look like they should be very winnable games for West Virginia, starting with Houston. But Houston's defense is tough as hell. Like Willie Fritz had that unit playing better than a lot of teams last year in the Big 12 and was one of the better defenses in the country. Offensively, I think they're going to struggle to find an identity. They have Connor Wegman, the Texas A&M transfer that's a former five-star. Has didn't really figure it out in College Station. I don't know that he's going to do it here where he doesn't have the same support system. It's a road game. We know what happened last time down there in Houston. So can't take anything for granted here. But I think even though this is a different roster, different coaching staff, I think the Mountaineer fans will maybe get a little bit of taste of revenge here. Very tight game. This might be one of the ugliest games you see all year, low scoring. I'll go with West Virginia here.
There you go. You're a smart man. You're a smart man. No, I'm the same with that. Matter of fact, I don't even think it's going to be that dramatic. I really think we kind of owe our fans and just some of the players from last year who went through this nonsense with them. I think we owe them big time, and I think we show up big time. So at this point, we beat Houston. We're 7-2 in my book.
Moving on to Colorado, coming back home, and it's senior day. No, it's not senior day. I'm sorry, but West Virginia getting their first crack at seeing a Deion Sanders coached team. Obviously, you're a big fan of him, Gene, as am I. I think the media kind of goes a little overboard with some of the narratives with him and his coaching style and all that. But at the end of the day, Colorado's still trying to figure things out, especially after losing Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter and Jimmy Horn Jr. and this guy and that guy. They have a lot of offensive production that they have to replace. Defensively, interestingly enough, they haven't been too good on the defensive side of the ball, but you look at what they have this year and what they did in the portal. I
Yeah.
kind of like what they did to structure that defense up. So I think they have some answers there. They got to
Mm-hmm.
figure out the quarterback situation. Is it going to be the Liberty transfer, Caden Salter? Is it going to be Juju Lewis? Could be that both maybe see playing time. We'll see. They got a couple intriguing backs with Dallin Hayden and Michael Welch. So they have guys. It's just going to maybe by this time of the year they start to click. So going to be a tight one as well. I think this is going to come down to who takes better care of the ball. And you could say that for all these games, but I think this one in particular. So I'm going to go West Virginia at home, get the win, and I believe that puts them for me at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 wins. I think so.
I think,
I'll redo my math here as Gene
yeah.
makes his pick.
So I'm looking at this game. Um, to me, this is a trap game. This is what I call a trap game for West Virginia because Lewis is a good quarterback. And for what I'm understanding, he's learning rather quickly the things that Dion wants him to do, where the sweet spots are for his receivers, getting the ball out quick enough so they can do their thing in open space. For me, if we're not playing consistent on defense and we're not playing well enough to get either one of their quarterbacks on the ground and stop the running game, this could be, like I said, a trap game, which I don't know. I'm a little worried about this game because a Dion coach team coming into, Morgantown, I don't know. I think this may be tricky for West Virginia. I have us losing this game. So on
Oh,
my,
okay, okay.
yeah, I
I was
have
not
us
expecting that one.
at this point, I have us at 7-3.
All right, so Arizona State. This could be a doozy. If we're being honest here. Um, Big 12 champion, went to the college football playoff, made a little bit of noise in the postseason. They got Sam Levitt back. They don't have Cam Scatterbo, but they've got some dudes in that running back room, Malik Brown, so on and so forth. I think they got the kid that transferred from Army too at running back, who's really interesting, and I think fixed them perfectly. So I don't know that they have much of a chance in this one, Gene. I really don't. As much as I hate to say it, but at this point in the season, Big 12 reigning champs, they're going to be humming. They're going to be firing all cylinders at their place. Tempe, that place can get loud too. I just don't see it happening.
Well, I see it differently.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't see West Virginia losing 2 games in a row all season.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
I don't see it. So for me, 8-3, tough game on the road, big win for Rich Rod on the road at Arizona State. So for me, we're 8-3 at this point.
Texas Tech to round things out, senior day. And I've been back and forth on this one, believe it or not, just because when you look at Texas Tech, they have the talent to be one of the best teams in the Big 12. They could certainly make the college football playoff. I mean, hell, they spent millions of dollars in the transfer portal trying to fix their defense. And I think offensively, they're already in a good shape. They always are. It's always been
Hmm.
about the defense. But if that defense is full of swings and misses, it's going to be the same Texas Tech that we're used to seeing 6-6, 7-5, 5-7, somewhere in that ballpark.
Right.
But if they come together, they gel, and they have, 5, 6 studs on that side of the ball, all of a sudden Texas Tech went from being an average football team to one that can really make some noise and maybe be this year's Arizona State. So it's a home game, senior day. I'm gonna give the slightest edges to Texas Tech here. I think they're gonna find a way to get the win done, or to get the win, get out of Morgantown, and survive the upset. So I'm going to go Texas Tech there. That puts me at 7-5.
Okay, hold on. Let me clean my glasses for this one. Hold on. Let me make sure. Hold on.
I can sense it. The upset's coming.
Let me. Okay, there you go. I just want to make sure I can see you clearly. Uh, no, my guy, you are my dude. Listen, no. No. West Virginia finishes the regular season at 9-3,
Wow.
and they not only beat Texas Tech, but they rout Texas Tech.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to
yeah,
save this clip and send it
yeah.
to all those Texas Tech fans going into game week, and just to get them stirred up and all pissed off.
Please, yeah. Rich Rod goes absolutely offensively and really into these guys and let them know I want to put. Let's see if we can break the scoreboard on these jokers. I really want to because if he's reading tea leaves like I think he is, he's probably paying close attention to what happened here, like we said at Houston and Texas Tech, and I'm sure he knows. I want to start putting a an exclamation point on some of these games
Yeah.
that we should have been doing over the last few years. And now that we have the opportunity to do such, we're going to do such. So I think we finished the regular season at 9-3. Now, ironically enough, yesterday, Daryl Talley brought something to my attention, and I wound up thinking about what he said, and it made so much sense. I actually switched one of my picks. So I think yesterday I had us at 8-4.
Okay.
So today I have us at 9-3. So let me, I just want to put that disclaimer out there. So no, I really believe
Get you a little
I
flexibility, you know.
yeah, I personally believe we're going to be anywhere between 8-4 and 9-3, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's certainly doable, and it's really hard to judge. I've been doing this for this is going to be my 10th season, I believe, and there it's always hard to predict because you don't know what West Virginia has, you don't know what anybody else has. But really, the last 3 years has become more difficult because of the transfer portal. But this
Right.
situation, I mean, oh my gosh, like you're better going blindfolded and trying to hit bullseye than trying to pick the accurate record for this team when you have 70 some new faces. I mean, that's just absurd. It's unheard of. And I think there's some beauty to it because you kind of go into it thinking like, hey, anything's possible. Like maybe they
Yeah,
rip off 10,
absolutely.
11 wins and they're the darling of college football this year, or it could be the scary part of it. And you go 3-9 or 4-8 in year one, and you're starting to wonder what's next. So it's hard to tell where
Well, the
this thing's
beauty
going to
of it
go.
is, here's the beauty of it all. It's fun to do.
Yeah,
We're predicting it's fun to do. But I will tell you this: if anybody can rally 70 plus new players on a roster together with a new coaching staff, it would be Rich Rod. Here's the thing: he's done it before.
he just did it
Remember
last
last
year.
year, right? He just did it last year and won a conference championship to boot. So and people will, well, that's at Jack State. What they don't understand is you can only play who's on your schedule.
Yeah,
You understand? Which means you're preparing your team. It doesn't matter who you play, what conference you're in, what league you're in. If you're the coach that knows how to get the very best out of your players, you're getting the very best out of whatever talent you have, no matter where you are. So it
absolutely.
just happened at happenstance. Now you're back in Morgantown, where you have more talent, more resources, more of an opportunity to do bigger and better things with a better roster. There's no doubt in my mind he should be able to manufacture 8 wins.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's certainly possible. And the one thing I want to put out there too, and I'm not trying to save my butt or anything, but like I don't want to completely rule out that they could win the Big 12 or win 9 or 10 games. It's just I think the expectation going into it, and I mean you're kind of in the right ballpark too. Like you said, you had them at 8-4 at one point too. So I don't think it's fair to put the expectation of go win the Big 12 in year one. That's really hard for the coaching staff and the players to do. If they do it, great. You're ahead of schedule by all means. But
Sure.
I think fans need to understand as much entertainment as this could be, or as exciting this is going to be heading into the season, and as much energy as there is. Just remember, 70 some new guys coming from every which direction, coached by several
Yep.
different types of coaches. It's got to come together. And you're playing a pretty tough schedule on top of it. So, lastly, before we get out of here, Gene, I want you to give me your ceiling and your floor for this team. So, you have them at 9-3. What's the ceiling and
Mm-hmm.
floor record wise for this group?
I think the ceiling for me is 9-3.
Okay.
That's the ceiling. I
Fair.
think the floor, if if things don't go right and you get hit with a little bit of the injury bug and you don't know where you are depth wise, the bottom floor for me is bowl eligible at 6-6.
Mm.
That will be my floor. But my ceiling for this team, yeah, I 9-3, 9-3, yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly, like I said, it's certainly doable. For me, I think the floor would probably be I mean, Vegas says 5.5. So I don't think I'd want to go much further down than that. So I'd say probably 5-7 is the floor. Anything worse than that would be, in my opinion, just oh boy, like buckle up. The whole team's going to get transformed again in the offseason, which kind of is
Right.
anyways because of how many seniors there are. But I don't think even if you miss out on a bowl game, it's not ideal. It's not what anybody wants. If you go 5-7, how do you perform in those games that you lost? That to me is what matters because in year one, you're trying to establish so much. You're trying to find answers. You're trying to figure out who you are, what you have. But do you play competitive football in those 7 games that you lose? Because that to me makes a difference. If you beat a team that, say you go and you beat Arizona State on the road and you win 2 of your last 3 to finish 5-7, and you're competitive, and say maybe 6 of the 7 losses, the only ugly loss was like early in the year. I think that's fans would probably take that over going 6-6 in a whole bunch of roller coaster up and downs. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I feel.
I believe this. No, that's a valid point. But here's the thing. Let me tell you something. Rich Rodriguez will be bowl eligible. Now, whether that's six
Mark
and six,
it
whether that's seven,
down.
yeah, mark it down. Whether it's 6-6, whether it's 7-5, whether it's 8-4, they will be bowl eligible. It's there's something about what his expectations are, that very rarely expectations doesn't meet,
Right.
the outcome where it's not what he wants. Um, the man just flat out knows how to coach.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, he's going to squeeze that last bit of juice out the orange to get what he needs, and that's just what he's done no matter where he's been. Outside of Michigan, he's won at every place he's been.
Mm-hmm.
So whether people love him or hate him, I think they tend to forget that. You take the personal part out of it and just look at him as a pure coach. Rich Rodriguez is a heck of a football coach. Let's be clear,
Yeah.
and he will have them prepared, barring injury and barring depth issues. They will be bowl eligible. Yeah, mark that down. If this is a mic, we can drop the mic on him.
Here, let me undo mine right here, and I'll drop it for you. But no, honestly, and I've probably talked about this a couple of times this offseason too, since he's been hired. But you even go to that Michigan stint. Look at what that team did the first year that he left, and that's not saying Brady Hoke is this glorious, legendary head coach, right? That just took so much more, or took that team to a whole nother level. I really think if Michigan gave him that fourth year, they probably had the same type of season that they would have posted anyways. I mean, they had Denard Robinson coming back. They had a lot of guys coming back. It's a what if, it's
I
a
believe
hypothetical. But like you said, even if you remove that, he's won everywhere. And you saw it last year at Jack State. So
absolutely.
now the one thing I do got to say before I get off of here, if they do get to a bowl game, I hope to God that is in range to get to the Pop-Tart Bowl. Oh my gosh. I would love to see the Mountaineers in the Pop-Tart Bowl. I would be signing up for my credential the moment that baby comes out. I want some free Pop-Tarts. I want to see the guy hop into the toaster. I want I want a piece of the actual big thing that they have that's like 10 yards long. I want a piece of that thing.
Oh, yeah.
So love it, love it, love it. So there you go. Our record predictions from Eugene and myself: 9-3 for Gene, 7-5 for me. And that's it. That's going to do it for us here today. That's going to be the last time you see Eugene until we are back on the Walkthrough Game Day show, which will be, I'm pulling up my schedule so I don't get it wrong, August 28th. So we will have the preview show breaking down Robert Morris in West Virginia. Let's be honest here. We're probably not going to spend a lot of time going into the weeds of what Robert Morris has, but it'll be kind of a little snippet of the game, what to expect, some keys to the game, what we're looking for, and also kind of a little bit of a season preview kind of wrapped in there too with our picks as well. Some big games in week one, maybe the best week one we've seen in a while. Texas, Ohio State, and so on and so forth. We'll make those picks on the show. So make sure you hit that like button, you hit subscribe here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI. For Eugene Napoleon, I'm Schuyler Callihan. You've been watching Between the Ears. We'll see you back here in a couple of days.